Right, gee, I'll keep this brief because my brother's getting married today, so I should probably be getting ready for that. But him getting married has made me think about gratitude, so it's just something I wanted to talk about. And I think we have a tendency to take certain things and people for granted, and we don't often operate in the frequency of gratitude. So it's a different way of operating. And when you really focus, when was the last time you sat down and thought, do you know what, I'm really grateful for the fact that I've got a roof over my head. I'm really grateful that I have access to high quality foods that nourish my body. We tend to focus on the thing we're trying to get or the thing we lack. Oh, I need to get my driving license, or I need to, whatever it happens to be. And that's good. You need goals and you need something to focus on. But you proceed towards your goals and the things you want from a place of what you already have. So if you're trying to get your driving license, if you didn't have a roof over your head, it would be a lot harder to do that. So I'm very grateful that I do have a roof over my head because I can focus on this thing. But it just made me think gratitude heightens the frequency of whatever you're already experiencing. So let's take my brother getting married, for example. Him and his partner have been in a relationship for a long time. They got kids together. The marriage isn't really necessary. They're not religious either, as far as I can tell. So it's not a religious thing. But getting married is a form of gratitude. It's basically saying, we don't have to do this, but I'm so grateful for you as a person that I would like to make a big show and a big song and dance about it and kind of make it publicly known to a lot of people, invite all our friends and celebrate us being together. And that is a beautiful thing. And you can do that. That's quite a high level. Normally getting married and weddings are very costly and they don't really need to be. But so that's a high level. You save that for a very special moment. But you can do this in your own life and you can implement it at low levels. But what I'm saying is it heightens the frequency of an already good thing. So if you're together and it's going well and then you get married, you're raising the frequency. You're saying, I'm grateful for you and I want to show you in this way. And you can do this at kind of a lower level. So if there's somebody in your life that you're grateful for, and you'll have loads of people that are like this, but we often take them for granted and don't express to them just how grateful we are. So this is your gratitude practice for the day. It's first, write down 5 things you're grateful for. And if one of them is a person, think about why you're grateful for them. And it will just heighten how you feel about that person. So normally you'd go, oh yeah, it's nice to meet up with James because of this. Well, you're not even conscious of it. You just enjoy your time when you meet up with that person. But if you sit down and really consciously think, so that's step 1, is actually bringing gratitude. And that raises your frequency. You operate from a place of just, if you think of how you operate on a daily basis, it's normally a level of scarcity. It's like, I need to go to work. I need to get some food. I need to put fuel in the car. It's kind of like you're running a to-do list. And every now and then you'll tap into gratitude. And the more often you practice this, your brain naturally rewires. So normally your brain is like a troubleshooting or issue finding tool. And if you train your brain to look for issues, it's going to find issues. So what gratitude does is it trains it to see things it's grateful for. And then you start seeing more. So if you do this with the little things, I'm grateful for my water bottles and my clean water. Well, I'm grateful for the food as well that I eat, and I'm grateful that I have a plate and cutlery to eat it with. It sounds silly because these are small things, but it does make a big impact on your life. And then when you start doing this with people, it will elevate your relationship with that person. So if you enjoy James's company, just being mindful of that, the next time you see him, it's going to be even more enjoyable because you're like, oh yeah, this is really cool. I don't take this person for granted. So you're switching the frequency you operate from. So that's step 1, is being mindful of the fact that you actually are grateful for this person and this thing. And then step 2 is doing something about it. So my brother getting married he's acknowledged that he's grateful for the relationship, and he's doing something about it, which is showing that gratitude in the form of marriage. Now, you don't have to do anything mad or expensive. Literally just sending someone a text is fine. Or I'd say get creative with this as well. Like I've done in the past. I'm not a very good artist, but this is probably one. I like taking photos, always taking beautiful photos of like the sunset, and we got red squirrels on the island, things like that. And I'll just print them out and give them to people. So I know about 10 people have got my pictures on the wall. You go in their house. And something else I did was I like to make things out of wood. I collect dead trees out of this forest and then turn them into certain things. And I made a bowl out of an oak log that had fallen down. And I give it to my friend, and I forget that I give people these things. And I went in, she asked me if I could walk her dog the other day. I went in to walk the dog, and I saw a bowl on the side, a nice oak bowl. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I made that. And I didn't stamp the underneath, so I couldn't actually remember, but I'm pretty sure it was mine. And these are just things that I wouldn't really do anything with the bowl, but I've given it to that person, and now that's part of their life. And it just shows that I'm grateful for them. And that example, actually, when I walked her dog, I grow flowers as like a hobby in an allotment. I walked her dog down to the allotment, and I had beautiful tulips, purple tulips in flower. So I picked one, and when I dropped her dog back, I just put it on the side. I couldn't find a vase or anything, so I just found a mug in the cupboard and put it in. Didn't tell her I was going to do that, but when she got back, she was like, oh, the flower's really nice. And that's because I'm grateful for her friendship, and I'm grateful. So yeah, I guess the thought of the day today is gratitude, and marriage is kind of a very stark, is that the word, very prominent way of showing gratitude. But it's worth thinking about, because sometimes you can get stuck. I know I do this. I get stuck in like a scarcity mindset, and I think, oh, I've got to get this, got to do that. And that's a different frequency. And if you can tap into the gratitude frequency, everything goes better as well. When you operate from a place of gratitude, it, like I say, it heightens your state. So the relationships you have, if they're already good, they'll get better. So actually this brings me on to another good point. It's easy to be grateful for things that are good. So if you have access to clean water, or you're in a good relationship, it's easy to be grateful. And you might say, well, I don't have those things. It's alright for your brother getting married. He's probably in a happy relationship. What about me, who's lonely or sad or depressed or overweight? That's when it's most important. And there's an art to this. When you're grateful for the things that are good in your life, it'll spill over to the things that aren't so good. So you'll say, I'm lonely at the moment, but I'm grateful for the fact that I go to the gym and I talk to the people in the gym. Well, if you're grateful for that, that leads on to go on a date with a girl at the gym, or go meet up and make friends with people at the gym. So if you say, oh, I'm lonely and I'm ungrateful because I don't have a relationship and I can't get married like your brother, that's only going to lead you to not go to the gym because you're sad, to not meet people at the gym because you're sad. Whereas if you operate from, what am I grateful for? Right, I can afford a gym membership, so I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm grateful because that makes me feel better. While you're there feeling better about yourself, you start talking to the person on the treadmill next to you, and you go, oh, I'm grateful for that person. And then you start saying, oh, I'll come, what time do you normally come? 10 o'clock, I'll come at the same time. And then you chat to that person. And then when you go home, you write down in your gratitude journal, I'm really grateful that I met this person at the gym, and I can go and train at the same time as that person. And now you've got something to be grateful for. And then that's how it positively spirals. It's like an upward spiral. So depression is a downward spiral, and gratitude is an upward spiral. And the worse your life is, the more important this is. So the harder, like, the less you've seemingly got to be grateful for, the better this practice is. So if you've got some really hard issues, that's when it's even more important. And you know this is possible because you can always find someone who's in a worse position than you that's still happy. Like somebody that's had his leg amputated and is still grateful for something, his other leg or whatever. There's always somebody worse off. And this is where you have to like reframe. But yeah, hope that helps. Let me know what you're grateful for, and whether you find yourself getting stuck in kind of the scarcity, ungrateful mindset, and then you have to check yourself. And I'll go like weeks at a time where I'll operate from this scarcity mindset, and then I'll catch myself. And I did it the other day. I was like, oh, I think it was Jake getting married that made me think, oh, that's a display of gratitude. What am I grateful for? And I've got a lot to be grateful for. And normally, if you think about it, you have as well. So one other quick point I wanted to make was, don't be afraid of telling people how you feel and how grateful you are for them. I think in our culture, it's a bit like awkward and weird. People think you're weird. If you just send a text out the blue to your dad or your friend, they might think you're odd and a bit strange. And even dating, I've found this Western, like modern Western dating is very odd. And I think people expect to be loved how they're loved by their parents. So if you're, I don't know, dating a girl that's got, I guess you'd say, daddy issues, where their father was absent or they didn't get that much love off their parents, a way to actually be successful with women in the West, if they've had this kind of upbringing, seems to be pretend you're not interested, and it creates desire. So you might get messed up by this if you're a man and you're dating women like this, and you can implement, it's literally like a strategy where you text them very infrequently, you're quite cold and blunt over text, and then just arrange to meet up. There's certain things you can do which are the opposite of what I'm saying. It's not being grateful for them, and this builds interest. If you give them too much love and attention, they'll lose interest and they'll go find someone that's going to be more of a replica of their father, which is quite a dysfunctional way of loving someone. And I've done this, and it's actually you can be quite successful with dating. I guess what I'm talking about there is treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen. And it sounds crude, but to some degree that does actually work with certain women who didn't get a certain kind of love and affection from their parents. And you tend to get stuck in that way, and we're like this with each other. You know, you don't want to tell your bro how much you love him and how grateful you are that you train with him every day. But I would say don't fall into the societal norm of treating women in a certain way. And this is only for certain women, but it seems quite widespread at the moment that that's what works with women. And it's a shame, and I don't like it, and I don't think most men like it either. But don't fall for it. Even if it makes you less successful with dating or whatever it happens to be, show gratitude, because you're going to attract into your life the people that respond well to that. If you send someone a text saying, oh, I'm really grateful for our meet up down the beach, and they ghost you because that's too much love, then that's not the people you want in your life. And it will feel awkward. You'll have resistance to doing this, and the person might even say, is everything all right? Because you don't do it. Hope that helps. Have a good day. Speak to you tomorrow.